Well, can we start?
Yeah, we can start instead of fucking RPing.
But like, why treants? Yeah.
That is
because
that is a good starting point. Why treants?
because treants are
reason.
epic in Resto.
Yes, exactly. That's the only reason we have treants.
Oh,
right?
okay. So I guess I have a question. Are treants even epic as Resto? Like that's something I guess I didn't really understand. So like it's balance Resto and then balance Guardian, but like so they made it around Grove Guardians and Force of Nature. Are these cool? Like for Resto?
Grove Guardians are pretty fucking strong, yeah.
Well,
I don't think
they're like
very...
whole tier set plays around them.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
There's the downside that they are NPCs.
Yeah, I don't think they're very exciting for us, though. They're good.
Yeah, I mean, of course they're good, but like, are they fun? Like, I guess that's the problem. Like, because
the button feels good to press.
I mean, I'm sure Force of Nature would feel good to press for us if it did all of this shit that they're in the hero talents, right?
Yeah,
I'm sure
they're
it wouldn't
overtuned in Resto at least.
Yeah,
and they're like whole set plays around them.
Yeah,
this year, so I'm not sure how it's gonna play next year. But reading this from the point of view of a Resto Druid, other than like Treants of the Moon, which makes no sense in Resto.
That's clearly a talent for us, but yeah, I guess.
Yeah, other than that, the talent tree sounds cool for Resto.
Okay.
So like protective growth makes sense for Resto. That is like a Resto Druid talent.
Yeah, I mean,
because it plays like the one from Priest. The Priest one you play with like dupe flash heal, where it dupes onto you whenever you use it on a friendly. So every like ramp or like every damage event, you will have it up on yourself as well.
Oh, okay.
From that, so you have like 50% uptime on it.
Okay.
So it's the same shit with Resto because you have a talent that dupes regrowth onto yourself.
So I think the gut reaction of all of us is literally why trees, which is a bit concerning for the hero talents in general, or the fact that we're like, why is this the like design choice that they picked, right? Why is this like the, because we saw Aloon's Chosen, I'm sure we'll talk about this in a little bit, but like this is just like fundamentally a more interesting design choice for balance, whereas trees, they're not a talent. Okay, so it's easy to take them, which is an advantage. However, they're not exactly a talent that's incredibly popular outside of like niche situations in Mythic Plus, right?
Yeah, it is, or is at some points good on single target.
Yeah,
single target, but other than that, it's like very.
I mean, are they really good on single targets? Like
they are like one patch, an expansion.
Yeah, that's like the first patch.
I mean, they're not good.
No, it's just like,
they're like 50 DPS.
You have a point to spend somewhere at the top.
Yeah.
The problem is that what they are pushing with trees is like a 1 minute burst playstyle, somewhat, if you can even call it that. And the problem is that the other tree achieves the same thing, right? It's pushing for the same thing. Like if you pick Fury of Balloon, it's gonna be like a 1 minute or like a 45-second cooldown, right? So it's aiming for the same thing.
I think, and I do think that class fantasy wise, this is substantially more interesting. Like the Aloon stuff with Fury of Aloon and Full Moon, basing it around that is far more interesting than basing it around trees. Now, I don't really know what they're supposed to do with our nature side, right? Because I do think that there probably should be like some nature themed Moonkin hero tree, but I don't think it should be based around trees. And something that I saw like being typed in like the Dream Grove, and I kind of agree with, is the fact that they pretty clearly make it like flavor first, and then they just like jam the playstyle in to fit the flavor, and that doesn't necessarily work for this for us.
Yeah, I agree. Also, the stuff at the bottom with orbital strike, that's also really
good. Okay, so I think let's go node by node and kind of just talk about it, because I think we talked about it like broadly. So the very top is Dream Surge. It says Force of Nature grants you 3 charges of Dream Burst, causing your next Wrath or Starfire to explode on the target, dealing nature damage. This is probably fine. Nobody's really complaining about this.
The only issue there is, why is it dealing nature damage? But I'm sure they will correct it.
You would rather do astral damage?
I mean,
yeah.
You're on AoE. You enter.
What if you're in Lunar?
You buff arcane damage, and then you're.
Are you supposed to go solar eclipse? I guess there's the question of, are you supposed to go solar eclipse before using your tree? Okay, yeah, that's a bit clunky.
No, this doesn't make it. I mean, this is just like a something they will change. Like either it will deal astral or it will deal either nature or arcane, depending on what
Yeah.
ability you use. Right?
Yeah, because the problem, like, so say you're on like a 5-target situation where you're actually trying to AoE here. Are you supposed to lock yourself into solar just to use this empowered with your eclipse? The answer is probably no, because that's cringe. Like,
You might just have to wait for pulsar or like delay pulsar for it.
oh god, that way you're in both eclipses. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, and then you go one patch later, and this just doesn't work anymore because your haste is different.
Okay. Then I guess do we want to go down the controversial side, or do we want to?
Side.
Okay, we'll go down the controversial side.
Left side.
Treants of the Moon. Your Treants cast Moonfire on nearby targets about once every 6 seconds. So first and foremost, why does it say about there? Like, is it going to cast every 6 seconds or like not? Like, why does it say about? Like, what do they mean whenever they said that?
Didn't they show this at BlizzCon?
Yeah,
it
they
was
did.
Like every 2 seconds, and that made like somewhat sense.
I think it said 6 seconds at BlizzCon too.
Oh,
Well, are they just gonna spam Moonfire? Like, how is this gonna be a different spell ID? So you have 2 Moonfires per mob, and by having them, you activate Waning.
Oh, I hadn't considered it like that.
so that could be a thing.
I just
Another thing
assumed it
that
was
could
going to be.
happen is-
Yeah.
Another thing that would happen is they work with our Moonfires. They're like our Moonfires, and they work with every talent that we have.
Mhm.
Meaning that Stellar Innervation is going to be an epic talent.
Oh, I don't
think
believe that, but
yeah,
maybe.
I don't think three Moonfire will not generate Astral power for us. That's not gonna happen.
I assumed that it wasn't going to work with. It wasn't going to generate astral power, and it wasn't going to work with like twin moons and stuff like that. I assumed that it was just going to kind of be
Yeah,
its.
Yeah, but nobody.
I didn't.
nobody thought-
I didn't expect it to be its own spell, but I did expect it to kind of work like on its own.
But like, it doesn't make sense for the Moonfire to be our Moonfire. Like, you're not gonna put down trees before you have dotted the mobs. Like that's not a thing in raid. Like, in what raid situation do you not have Moonfire on the mob you're facing?
I mean, first in Mythic, just speaking from Mythic Plus perspective, first global fucking trees are troll. Like,
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
not
And-
treesing the mob while your tank is gathering. That's just like not a thing. You're moonfiring while your tank is gathering.
Yeah, so like it doesn't make any sense for it to not be a separate dot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
but
if it is,
I guess
they
that's
need
fair.
to fucking change it.
Do they know? Kind of deal.
Yeah,
I guess.
exactly.
I don't know. This is. I've seen worse, but at the same point, I don't think we're having issues keeping up our dots anymore, right? Like whenever Twin Moons was added, that was like a pretty big deal. Now we also have Ethereal Kindling, and that once you get the mobs dotted the first time, you're never having an issue. You're never running into a problem of like redotting.
Don't know for sure.
I don't know.
The problem with you treesing at the start is also that they do give you amp damage, right?
Oh
At
yeah,
some point.
that would be troll. That would be so troll.
Yeah,
Actually,
the
if you-
last one.
So you can't. Okay, so basically you can't use them to dot either because like there's some stuff that's like later down in the tree where like every single time you activate Force of Nature, you like do more damage. And so
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
you should already have the mobs dotted. Like if you're not activating your mastery before you press this button, it's like super troll. Okay. Next up, we have Power of Nature and Durability of Nature. This is basically making your trees no longer taunt and do more damage, or be healthier for them to taunt mobs. This is probably the only talent that I'm not like super doomer on. Like I understand if they're trying to make a tree based build, why they would need to actually have this talent where they don't taunt.
I mean, it's like first season, your tank is squishy. You want trees to taunt some mobs in Mythic Plus. That's like the only scenario where you would want them to taunt. But then again,
Yeah, but-
it's like tied to you doing damage. Like this whole hero tree is around your trees,
Yeah.
and that they amplify you in some way. So
Funnily
you don't
enough,
want them to die by having them tank anything.
yeah. I mean, funnily enough, the only reason we don't play them in Mythic Plus right now is because you lose like 5 or 6% damage, and tanks are very tanky. If we had a slightly different talent tree where you would only lose like 1% damage to talented treants, I'm sure you would. Like it is one of those things that the talent in general is very, very powerful. You're not losing 6% damage in Mythic Plus to take it. However, if it was slightly less damage loss or tanks were squishier, if tanks were squishier, you'd just take them anyways. Yeah. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, the problem with
Yeah.
that would be like you do not need a 50% increased HP. You would just run the other talent tree and then use trees as taunt.
Yeah, well, I mean, they never die. I mean, there's 3 of them, right? And the way they work is like one of them taunts, and then it dies, and then the next one taunts the mobs, and then it dies, and then the third one taunts the mobs, and then it dies.
Yeah. Also, the thing that they no longer taunt is very irrelevant because you could just place them outside of the mobs.
Exactly.
Yes,
Like, it doesn't matter, right?
but you get a 20%
So
damage
it's
increase
more of
here.
a negative.
Well,
Yeah, you could like taunt one mob, for example. That would be a good thing to like taunt only one mob and like keep it in place. And then the trees don't die,
Yeah.
right? If
I mean,
they only taunt one mob.
funnily enough, I think the Grove Guardian parts of these nodes are actually like super interesting. Your Grove Guardians increase the healing of your Rejuve, Efflow, and Life Bloom 5% while active. I mean,
Yeah, they're really sick for the rest of
and the Grove
Both of
Guardians
them make sense.
Nourish and Swiftbend spells apply a minor scenario ward that heals the target over 8 seconds the next time they take damage. I mean, that's sick. I mean, I feel
Imagine
like
you
that,
put that thing on a tank.
and then
They
we
like have
get
20-second cooldown as well.
we get trees no longer taunted do 20% increased damage. Like, please, man, like, please. Clearly, the guy who's designing this tree is like, bro, what the fuck am I supposed to do with these trees?
No, this is the rest of them working for sure. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, just put something in for Boomkin. It'll be fine.
Yeah, and then I don't your Force of Nature treants generate 3 astral power every 2 seconds, or your Force of Nature cooldown is reduced by 10 seconds.
So the 10-second one is like completely.
Yeah,
What are we
I don't
what are we
even know.
lining it up with? Nothing.
Yeah, with your
Nothing.
3-minute cooldown.
Your 2-minute and 40-second CD.
Your pulsar maybe is like 50-second cooldown. Who knows, guys?
Oh, dude, you could slam these motherfuckers on CD for your tank in Mythic Plus.
Oh yeah, go like early spring durability of nature build. Oh, that's so sick for your tank.
I truly am a support now.
But in regards to this talent, I wonder if they're gonna keep Astral Communion. Like, is that talent still gonna exist? Because there's a talent as well that increases your
Oh, your astral power? Yeah.
Astral pool by 20.
Yeah, that's right here. I don't know. And there's also one about
Yeah, exactly. This one as well.
the orbital one too. Yeah, so yeah, just going down the next tree. Yeah, your maximum mana is increased by 5%, your maximum astral power is increased by 20%. I mean, is communion gone? Like, are they reworking how communion works?
Probably not. You're probably gonna still keep it. I hope they buff it. Like, actually, I hope they buff it so you go
140 astral power?
You could go like Eclipse, like do Star Surge 4 or 5 times, and then Communion and do Star Surge again like 2, 3, 4 more times.
140 astral power. What am I doing with that?
Well, the talent below it, you see. No.
Oh, you're talking about you're talking about this. Okay, yeah. Snarius' might, yeah. Okay, I have a major problem with this talent. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I think that they keep doing this thing with our Eclipse and our talents where they like Star-Lord works this way and Nature's Grace works this way and Boat works this way, where they want you to like spend your Starfalls, and our Force Set works this way too right now, where they want you to spend your Star Surges and Starfalls at different times, but then they keep adding different ass buffs to like when you would actually spend. So Nature's Grace wants you to, use your astral power at the very beginning of the eclipse. Boat wants you to use it at the very beginning of the eclipse. Yet our Force Set wants you to use it at the very end, and so it kind of pulls you in a weird way. And like Eclipse just generally wants you to use it at the very end, and this wants you to use it back to back, not even at the very end, just back to back after one another, which is awkward.
Oh, this just like promotes pooling and then dumping everything at the start of Eclipse.
Yeah,
I don't like
you would do like Starfire, 3 Starfire, and then you proc the Eclipse, and then you would just spam Star Surge. And if the AP generation of the trees actually works properly, and if it would give you like 9 AP every 2 seconds, if that works like that, then you get a lot of AP. If the Moonfires also give you AP, if Innervation also gives you AP, if that somehow makes
There's no way, but yeah.
Stop
the cope.
This is the
like spam a lot,
Bro is cooking, but I don't think it's it. So like, okay, what are we gonna do? Pull up to 140 astral power, Star Surge to proc our pulsar, and literally press like communion and dump our entire life savings into this goddamn buff? Like, is that really what we're about to do here?
I wonder if you'd play Fury of Elune as well, just to generate more astral power to get another search out.
You press the Fury of Elune before you even go into the pulsar. That way, it's like generating more.
Yeah, you make like a big pulsar window, right? With
Yeah.
everything lined up. You pulled all the astral power. You
Yeah,
have
but it's also
treants
trees
ready.
before. You
Like,
do like
listen.
treants, Fury of Balloon, proc Pulsar, and then spam Star Search.
Listen, I don't necessarily mind too much about being gated behind Pulsar. I don't think that it's like the most engaging thing, but I think if that happened where we are literally cyclical 1 minute, dumping everything every minute, it's going to be a problem, I think, especially for average players. I think average players are already having issues with like how tempo-based Pulsar is right now, where if you like mess up anything, you just like lose all of your damage. And I think that this on top of that is not exactly very healthy, and I also think it's not super intuitive to average players.
Yeah, I mean, Pulsar generally is so problematic, I think.
Yeah, also makes it very immobile, and you just gotta feel bad when you can't have this window. Like, see,
I mean, everything's instant cast, isn't it? It's Fury Balloon, it's trees, it's Star Surge, Starfall.
But it's only at the start of an eclipse, and then you're punished if, like, in the next 7 seconds, you don't have a spender.
Oh my god, I'm cooking up a Weaver build right now. I'm ready.
I know, but you can't use Weaver, by the way, because you're gonna cast.
Casting.
Wait, what are the? What, I guess.
Damage of your
yeah. Okay,
I guess. What does it mean by another spell? I think Weaver probably works, but I'm not. I guess I'm not positive.
Maybe it works.
It should work, but it's phrased.
All right.
Funny.
Anyways, I think that this is probably the biggest issue that I have with the entire hero tree. Is just like this. This is another thing kind of similar to Star-Lord and Nature's Grace and Boat and Eclipse and what else does that shit? You know, just our foreset, like messing with how we spend our AP. It just feels super weird.
I mean, you do remember season 1 on like Castle Nathria, right? How that used to be, like, where you just need to spend at the start and do not care about movement. Like, if you need to spend it after, then you are losing DPS.
Dude, the only thing I remember about Nathria is the orbital trinket double on use with the Convoke. That's all I remember.
Another thing with that talent is you'll just promote canceling Star-Lord, right?
Yeah.
Like always. That's the only window you actually search in, right? So, yeah. If it's about to run out, and we'll just increase the time of canceling Star-Lord as well.
So you would just cancel it right before you dump this? Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, of course. It might also just give you more time outside of Eclipse because you need to Fury Balloon and trees outside. Right? You wouldn't do it inside of an Eclipse, but whenever you press treants, they will press Moonfire also, so they will not get buffed by any Eclipse, which feels bad, I think.
I don't think it would work for. Oh god, I think it's there for Moonfire. I don't think it's our Moonfire, but yeah, I guess.
I mean, if it's theirs, then it's unbuffed Moonfire.
Dude, if it can't,
that's gonna be shit.
If it cancels this, I would maul. By the way,
also it does cancel that. Also, like that. No.
So here's the weird thing too. The way that you want to dump this is like you want to go like if you dumped your entire astral power pool, how you would actually want to do it like inside of a pulsar window is you would want to like cast a spinner to proc the pulsar. So you cast the Star Surge, and then you cast your Fury Balloon, and then you cast your treants, right? And then you cast Star Surge, and then you press Astral Communion, and then you press Star Surge again. But like, but we're losing Cenarius's might like over and over again every single time we press Astral Communion, every single time we press Fury Balloon or trees. So it's like a bit like what are you supposed to do? Like genuinely, casting another spell cancels this effect. Like it's Star-Lord for our spenders. Like I don't get it.
I mean, you will have like 2 or 3 dump windows in an Eclipse, right? Because if you start an Eclipse with, or like even before, with Fury Balloon and then treants, and it's gonna be kind of a lot of AP generation now.
Yeah, I don't know.
That feels like insanely bad.
But are you gonna press your Fury Balloon before you start dumping? Like before you really genuinely?
You need to do before.
Yeah. Okay, which is troll. Like that's. I mean, I don't know. Anyways. Power the Dream and Control the Dream. Force of Nature now grants an additional stack of Dream Burst where, you know, Cenarius's might, spell damage, or healing is increased by an additional 5%.
I mean, you just take this baseline. I don't know. Chicken is on some cope of Control of the Dream, but 5% extra.
Time elapsed while your major abilities are available to be used as subtracted from that ability's cooldown after you use it up to 5.
That's some jank with like Fury of Balloon, Force of Nature cooldown reduction, because it won't like always line up with your Pulsar or your Eclipse. You're gonna have to wait some time, right?
Dog,
Every time, because
this is a
if you go
3-minute
60
cooldown.
seconds, yeah, that's a 3-minute cooldown. That makes like no sense. So from what you would play it now, that would be only for Force of Nature, but
Yeah, I'm just sitting here thinking, dog, this is a 3-minute CD. Like, what the? Okay.
Yeah, like I don't know. I don't understand why like.
I don't care as well. Like
always
you like almost every like you have a 3-minute cooldown.
Yeah.
If there's a 3-minute trinket that's good for casters, you will play it. So if your celestial alignment is 255, well, you're still gonna wait those 5 seconds for your fucking trinket to come up.
So I mean, just some feedback. It's like the only timing that would actually make this useful is if somehow we got our CA down to 2 minutes as opposed to 255. Like, you're never pressing. Very infrequently are you pressing something like truly on CD in that regard, right? Like where it's the 5 5-second difference. I don't know.
For Resto as well, this doesn't make sense either. Like Force, like Nature Swiftness.
I mean, NS is a 30-second cooldown, isn't it?
No, it's 1 minute.
Oh.
So how NS windows with Convoke work is that you want to press NS and then Convoke, and then you need to spend your regrowth after the Convoke. So that's gonna be a bit bad. Because the cooldown doesn't start until you spend your NS. So that's gonna be a bit desynced, but
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, now we get down to the regrowth. Now we get down to the regrowth row, which is ridiculous. Your regrowth protects you, reducing damage you take by 8% while your regrowth is on you. Not exactly what I was looking for in regards to survivability increase. I wouldn't, frankly, I wouldn't even be mad if this was put in our like class tree just as something. At the same point, I don't.
Can replace Forest Walk.
As somebody who played Shadow a little bit, I didn't like the flash heal to give me DR bit. I felt like it wasn't like sick.
No, this is like bad because you want to regrowth yourself up to full or like up to playable, where you don't die after you take damage.
Well, no, I mean
on bear form more than anything, right?
How you're gonna do it is
are you gonna regrowth and then bear form, and then like your first regrowth does nothing?
How you would do this is you would pre-regrowth yourself, right, before you actually got hit by anything, which is, I mean, it's fine. It's just,
I mean, it feels better, right? If you're already full HP and then you're taking a hit, then the regrowth doesn't do anything, like the healing itself, and then you only get like 8% DR.
But you have the hot on you, right? Like you have the hot on you.
Yeah, but the hot does nothing.
They could tune it up, of course.
Yeah.
Actually, if they do tune it up and then put it like on reach or some shit, then yeah, that feels great.
It's also like at least the current iteration of Bunkin is like an uptime spec, right? You want your pulsars, so you want to be spending your globals not on casting fucking regrowths. So like actually promoting casting regrowths all the time, it's just like it doesn't work with the spec.
I mean,
it works on Feral, it works on Resto.
Yeah.
Balance, it doesn't.
Well, Feral has dead globals because they're an energy spec, right? Like they're not constantly pressing something. I mean, okay, they might be right now, but like generally speaking, they're not constantly pressing something because they're not able to. They're like pooling their energy before they're spending down their combo points.
But this talent is like a good talent for a high Mythic plus keys, right?
Yeah, I would
extra DR from like an ability that you already know is coming your way.
I would use this in Mythic Plus fairly regularly. I mean, I feel like it's not too bad. Just like it's nice in that regard. I don't think it's like exactly how I would want to get DR, but like for me, it's not like something that I want to be in a hero talent. I would rather it be like this talent right here. I'd rather it be this Forest Walk talent.
Yeah.
Which you know, frankly, I would use it, especially at 8% DR. Would be like, okay, well, I got to figure out how to talent this. It'd be like one of those things that's hard to get because our tree sucks, which is completely unrelated, but I would take it. I mean, I think it's much better in that regard.
Yeah, and it wouldn't feel bad in Mythic Plus either. Like Mythic Plus is not that like the damage in Mythic Plus is not that relevant that you can spend a global on a regrowth if the alternative is like you might die.
I mean, you're never pressing in raid, but in Mythic Plus it is very useful. It also would like stop you from going. The problem with Druid and Mythic Plus is like you don't have anything versus medium hits, like medium strength hits. But if you like overlap this with Barkskin, it probably is enough.
And the problem also is that you don't really die from one shots on Druid, right? you usually die from rot. And this doesn't help you at all.
That's true. Whatever.
Oh, it's an 8% DR during 12 seconds, plus the heal if they actually tune it up to do any relevant healing. But sure.
I will say, if there's anybody watching from Blizzard, if you could like make regrowth actually heal me for like 20% of my health pool or like 25% of my health pool per regrowth cast, I will actually press it a bit more. Right now it heals 11% of your health. Like what a fucking joke. I'd rather bear form. Yeah, I'd literally rather bear form, man. Like it is so troll.
Yeah, like I think if you're taking a big hit and like you need to do something, you're better off just pressing bear form than to actually regrowth yourself. Unless you need both, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, a walk from Red Paladin heals you for 1 million, so.
Okay,
Same.
so
Yeah.
Grove Inspiration and Persistent Enchantments. Wrath and Starfire damage is increased by 12%, and Regrowth, Wild Growth, and Swift Mana healing is increased by 6%. We would never talent this. The second one, Orbital Strike applies Stellar Flare for 20 seconds, and Pulsar grants Celestial Alignment for 2 additional seconds. So what are they doing with Orbital Strike now? Is it not going to apply Stellar Flare?
Nope. Well,
I guess not.
Not according to the tooltip.
It's like the person didn't read what Stellar Flare does.
Oh, I get.
It's 24 seconds, no? Or am I just wrong on that?
No, you're right. It's very weird. You get like a 20-second Stellar Flare instead of a 20.
Wait, it is 24 seconds. Wait, what?
so I mean, they just gotta remove Stellar Flare from Orbital Strike. There's no other reasonable explanation. Right?
So is it just going to be your Incarnate's 2 minutes? And
I mean, I guess, and you
get the button
somehow. Yeah,
I mean, get it.
Strike itself pulls us damage, right? The beam.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, so I wrote an article for a while ahead talking about like a retrospective of it hasn't been released yet, but like one of the big things is like I don't want Pulsar and Orbital Strike to be linked anymore. I think that is like a really bad design decision to have this is a choice node, mostly because of how polarizing Pulsar is for our talent tree. Like if Pulsar has to get deleted, it is what it is, but like I don't think this could be a choice node.
Yeah, there's no in between, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's good in both single target and AoE, like regardless. But Orbital Strike is like a straight up, like it should be a 2-minute AoE talent,
which it is.
But
it should go back to Wild Mushroom node.
But it's not good enough to be picked, so it just doesn't have a place at all in tree.
I'm actually so sad that it got moved back to this Pulsar choice node instead of the Wild Mushroom node because of PvPers. That's actually so infuriating, by the way.
Yeah, we would have played that talent on
everything,
almost every boss.
Yeah,
maybe Volcross you wouldn't.
Okay, Blooming Infusion. Every 5 regrowth you cast makes your next Wrath, Starfire, or Entangling Roots instant, and increases the damage it deals by 100%. Every 5 Star Surges or Starfalls makes your next regrowth or Entangling Roots instant. So we're global locked, right?
You would get both options, but I don't believe that.
Oh, I think you're getting both options. I think it's both.
Well, I mean, Resto can't cast Starfall, right?
Oh,
they can with Convoke.
That's actually a good point. Not one I had really considered.
It's like I don't know. It feels weird to me that.
What is Resto supposed to do with this?
This is, I am assuming that this is more of a Resto Druid now is able to do damage easier talent.
Is this top one for Is this top one for Resto and this bottom one for Moonkin?
Yeah.
The top one is made for Resto, yes, and the bottom one is made for Moonkin, but they could both be played as they could both be used by both specs, basically.
I see.
But it's very hard for you to get 5 regrowths off as balance, and very hard for you to get off 5 Star Surges at Resto. That was happened like once a fight for both of them.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna start regrowthing a fucking trash pack or something.
I was thinking about that as well. It's so degenerate.
Oh my god! I can't imagine you're just standing there
you
waiting
can't do
for
it
your tank to
pre-raid.
pull, and you're just like pre-regrowthing your tank while you're like waiting on something in a Mythic Plus dungeon. You're like pre-regrowth the fucking boss like right before you pull.
Yep.
Oh, give me 20-second pull timer, 20-second pull timer. I got a regrowth.
I mean, you can't do that in bosses, right? Because you need the travel time and the cast time of the raid.
20, 20, 20.
That's just if it's removed upon entering combat or a raid
Oh,
encounter, right?
God.
But in Mythic
I mean,
Plus,
how are
you
you
can
gonna
just
do that?
use it. It's
Yeah,
just
in M+,
like,
it's good.
yeah.
I mean, you don't want to be using it.
It's like downtime.
It's like
That's
so
so bad.
troll. So troll if I pre-regrowth thing while my tank is grouping a Mythic Plus as opposed to dotting.
Yeah, and a
Don't think
boss as
anyone else
well,
can
which
do
has like downtime. Take last boss in Blackroot Hold, right?
I mean,
On,
it's fine
yeah,
if it's fine if there's
right.
downtime. I don't want to be doing it like in combat. Like I think that's the problem, right?
It's supposed
know.
to promote the nodes above.
I guess this is a bit weird. This could just purely only be resto, and this only could be balance. I could believe that as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. Then Harmony of the Grove. Each of your Force of Nature treants increases your damage of your spells deal by 3% while active, which is fine. Like I think it makes sense with like the rest of the tree. I think that the issue is this isn't why trees. Like going back to the very beginning of this, why did they pick trees as this for us? Turning us into this like weird 1-minute build where we spin down on a pulsar yet can't cancel the effect. It's I don't know. Just very
up, right? It's just like it's all very stupid because
yeah, the Force of Nature 10-second less thing and the CDR while on cooldown is very weird.
I mean, there's just no flow, right? Like, there's just no flow for how this is supposed to work with balance, Druid. Like,
yeah, nothing will line up at all. You will always play moons because moons are very versatile because they have a charge system instead of Fury of Elune. Fury of Elune wouldn't line up with Treants. Pulsar doesn't line up with Treants. Treants only last for 10 seconds. Like this Dream Burst, well, surely you would want to spend the Dream Burst inside a Pulsar window, for example, but you can't because you need to cast Star Search 7 times in a row.
Yeah.
What are you supposed to do with this? Like, I don't know.
So somebody in chat said it's hard to judge the tree without knowing what they're doing with like the spec and the class tree. It feels like I kind of agree, but at the same point, I feel like these are just like larger design decisions. Okay, so we know that I think it's very likely that balance is going to be a builder spender that works in a very similar way that it is right now. And I think that you can look at that and be like, this scenario might the playstyle that it's trying to incur is not super fun. On top of that, I don't think any of us are really super fond of like trees in that way. Like I like trees, I probably more than the other two people who are in this call, but I don't like them in this way.
Trees are nice utility, but
the biggest problem I have with trees is we won't have the current tier piece, and you can't pick Warrior Villain. At least with the current iteration.
You just never take Warrior Balloon. Yeah, I guess.
Cycling between eclipses is gonna feel very bad, yeah.
Yeah, and
Warrior Balloon makes it very easy to cycle.
So whenever you contrast it with the Loons Chosen, I mean, obviously we haven't seen the full thing, so there could be some like weird shit here. I think just in general, the direction of how this looks for balance is more interesting, right? It's Fury of Elune and Full Moon based, you know. Each non-arcane ability you use increases the damage of your next damaging arcane ability by 2%, stacking up to 5 times. You know, this probably also works with astral damage. Enemies damaged by Full Moon, Fury of Elune, or Lunar Beam take increased damage from you for 6 seconds. The way that this works with Full Moon is a bit awkward, but the way it works with Fury of Elune makes sense, right? The first tick of Fury of Elune is going to proc this, and then the subsequent ticks of Fury of Elune are going to continue to proc this.
Yep.
Like, and I think that stuff like this
is kind of sick. Not gonna lie, when you're like single target and you spend it just on a
Star Search. Will it work exactly? Would it work with Astral?
I mean, these things
because it's arcane.
Yeah, it's both nature and arcane, of course. But like, is it only gonna be half of the damage because it's only half that is arcane, or will it be the full value?
Well, they usually don't work like that. But yeah.
What if we took Umbral Embrace and it just fucking procs?
Is that talent just like? Is that talent just like not a thing in Mythic Plus? Can you only stack it one time in Mythic Plus?
Yeah. Well, it's like 2 times with Wrath in between
Sunfire.
eclipses. Or Sunfire, yeah, exactly.
Is it a buff you get, or is it a buff to the spell? Because imagine Starfall, for
Oh.
example.
Good point.
Well, then you Starfall once, and then you Starfire.
Anyway, I think that
pockets.
I mean this is just not very clear. But I will say I think that just like thematically, this is more of what I'm looking for. And I do agree that they probably should do something with our solar side, right? With our nature sun-ish side. I just don't think it's force of nature based, but I don't know if we have much of a choice since they've also looped in Grove Guardians and they're like, you know what, this is incredible cook. We are geniuses.
I think Force of Nature needs to get like rework ASAP, like Grove Guardian type rework, I think. And then it's gonna be sick. Imagine if the 3 had spam Star Surge on the target.
I mean, that would be
or like whatever it was back in WoD or like Mop or something.
It was Wrath. Yeah, it was Wrath and Mop and WoD. But you didn't.
Yeah, that would be like
different
sick.
For sure.
And put them on charges. That would be like very sick. If they put them on charges, they made them work like Grove Guardians. That would be very sick. I'd be very down to play that.
Yeah, that'd be well, not with the entire tree that we have seen right now, but with a charging system, that would make so much more sense.
It would make more sense with the hero talents, right? Like I think it would make Yeah,
you pop one each eclipse, and then your eclipse is buffed by a bit, and then I don't know, you have another global to press.
I mean, I just don't think they can be a 1-minute CD the way they would.
Yeah.
Oh no, for sure.
With this 3, it doesn't work with a 1-minute CD. That's just not a thing. It's to be on like 20 seconds, and then the cooldown makes it like 5 seconds less, and then at full CD you get more CDR after you press it. Doesn't work with charge system. I want to point that out as well, that it has like no purpose being there with Grove Guardians.
Well, I mean, it just doesn't make sense on a 1 minute, right?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense on 1 minute either, but it doesn't with charge system either. So
yeah. I mean,
it's very suspicious, that talent.
So just some feedback too. I think scenarios might have to be changed. Like I don't think that anybody's going to be super thrilled if this stays in the exact same way that it is right now.
This will be so annoying for everyone.
Yeah, not very fun to play. Needs like a major change before it goes live.
The question is, if you cast Starfall, like imagine you cast 5 Starfalls in a row or whatever, how much AP you might generate. Would you just not press another button because you don't want to lose the damage? Surely not, right? But,
so I mean, how would that even work? You press what, 3 Starfalls in a row? That's the most you can press.
Yeah, so you have Power the Dream and you have Sinner's Might, right? And then you have some additional AP. Maybe you line it up with a Orbit Breaker if possible.
Yeah, okay. An Orbit Breaker and the pre-Fury of Elune.
Yeah. So you get 4 Starfalls out. And you pick Power the Dreams, you actually have 15% increased damage on those 3 or 4 Starfalls.
Yeah.
Would you want to press another button to cancel that?
You wouldn't.
No.
You wouldn't.
Well, like, how are you going to get up to enough astral power to press anything else, right? I don't know.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
Yeah, but that just feels bad because the buff just gets removed, right? And that talent just doesn't exist with Starfall.
Yeah.
Would be a thing, unless it just individually buffs each Starfall, and then it snapshots. But
could be a thing. Doubt it will work if they try to go that way.
Yeah, it's gonna have a lot of bugs if it goes that way.
Yeah, that's for sure.
God, yeah, I don't know. Scenarios might need a rework for Druid. I mean, this shit on the left side, not great. I think just functionally, I also don't like the fact that they keep putting defensive nodes in the hero trees. I think that that's problematic for a completely different reason, more just like a game state thing, as opposed to like a Druid thing. But
yeah, that thing needs to go either in class 3 or by default. Like, you don't need to make them so conditional either, right?
Yeah, I mean, you've been healing most of this expansion, but I feel like, and I don't know exactly how you feel, but I feel like every class is way too tanky.
Just every class is way too tanky, other than some specific classes.
Well, I don't even think they're way too tanky. I think they're way too tanky relative to the norm, right? Like, or not tanky enough relative to the norm. Like, this iteration of Moonkin, if you sent it back into Legion, it would be literally God mode. Like, it would not die to anything. But it's like, if you look at it in context of like what the current game is, it's not very good.
Yeah, right now in the current game you have like your healers, which are Disc Priest is tanky only inside of its cooldowns, then it's immortal. Outside you're just paper most of the time, in raid at least. Then Mystic is just a tank, Paladin is a tank, like Holy Priest is okay. The rest of Shaman is like okay. And then you have like those 2, 3, 4 classes in your raid frames that you have to put at the top, which are Balanced Druid, Hunter, and something else, right?
Hunter is not squishy, no? That's
not as squishy, but still compared to like a DH or like a mage.
Help.
I mean, the deal with like Disc and Resto Druid too is that you just fucking have 40% versatility, so you have 20% passive DR.
Yeah, I mean that's in
Mythic Plus, right?
Stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do that as well.
So troll.
Did you see the Hunter hero talent defensive?
No,
you wrote something else on it, so I couldn't see.
Yeah, it's basically the same. They get their wall if they play Exile. So whenever they press Exile, they get their wall for 3 seconds.
I mean, that's also bad, right? Because you don't want to pre-exile.
Yeah, you don't want to pre-exile.
Like if you,
that. Yeah.
If you got a wall whenever you press renewal,
fields, man.
Yeah, this is troll. Like, if you got a wall whenever you press renewal, like that, what? Like, how are you using that correctly?
No idea.
Yeah, that's so bad. I mean, survival of the Trix activates Exile is good. The bottom one is good.
The other way
because
around,
then you top yourself. Yeah.
Exactly. The other way around makes sense. The top way just makes no sense.
It's the same thing with like Infinite Star on like whatever the star raid wide is on Tinrel. It's like either you press big healing before or after. Before you do it to top everyone if everyone's not topped, otherwise they die. And after is to like balance the HP bar. That's for like revival or something. Or like salve. It's like very interesting to press it like that. So I think putting heal on a defensive is good. Putting defensive on a heal, it's bad.
Yeah.
I agree.
For sure, I agree.
Any final thoughts about the tree?
I need to rework this.
Yeah.
I
think Force of Nature needs a rework, not the tree itself. Well, the tree is some parts of it, yeah, but Force of Nature needs a rework if they want to work with this.
I agree with that.
I don't think they want to back down from Keeper of the Grove, so please rework Force of Nature.
Also,
I'm down.
How that's just a tuning issue, of course, but like how much Dream Burst is going to do. How good are they going to be?
Yeah, maybe you want to do it in both, and you want to go in with 0 AP into an Eclipse.
Yeah.
And then Force of Nature, and then 2 generators or something.
Yeah, I think there is. I think
the
starting
nature
it off
damage
with...
on mushrooms as well. Maybe you just dump 3 mushrooms. Who knows, guys? On single target. Maybe that's what it's meant to do.
I mean, I think starting off the conversation with being like, why trees is like pretty valid, right? Like, so why do they pick trees? You know what I think I should do? I think I should be able to summon Cenarius to fight alongside me. Demonology Moon. Hear me out. Let me cook. We got the Friend of the Fae. We got trees, and I really think we should be able to cook up like Gnarl Root. That guy can come fight for me.
Cook up Gnarl Root.
You come set up 3-minute cooldown, but you gotta
have the pro tank for you.
You press your Celestial Alignment,
no problem, guys.
And you summon Gnarl Root to come beat up the fucking mobs.
Truly the summoner spec of this game.
Yeah, I don't think it should be that, but like, I don't know. This is weird. I think we'll probably end up playing the other one, Elun's Chosen, I assume, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, that just comes down to tuning, or like, if they actually make it, what these things should be is they should be situational. If anything, they should make them like, this excels at, like, I don't know, like, M+ing with friends. You like, have utility and stuff. And this one does like big damage.
You know what this one excels at?
I don't know.
Whenever you port to the Dream Grove and you're like sitting there vibing, RPing, you're like, this is it.
Yeah, I'm the keeper, guys.
I wonder if they're gonna keep
I'm the beekeeper.
As a 10-second duration.
As opposed to what? You want them to be
No,
longer?
just like a longer duration, yeah.
Dude, I mean, imagine they're taunting with the longer duration. It'd be fucking wild.
Oh, true. It's only
3
for
ends with your build.
yourself as well.
No, I'm down to be OP, but like I don't know if that's really. I don't know if other people will be happy.
People on Twitter want.
Yeah,
I wonder what
if
the
you
thought is. Yeah.
if you have a 15-second taunt with the trees that can't die, that'd be insane. 1 minute CD.
With the last talent, like I don't know if there's anything to it, but what? Oh, can you scroll down?
Yeah.
Yeah, this one. So each of your Force of Nature treants. Does that mean that they will
Oh,
be
That's
on the
9.
chart system?
Oh, we get 9.
Or-
No,
Oh,
well, you summon 3.
Yeah.
Summon
but-
3. So it's like 9%.
So, well, yeah, exactly. So it's like every single tree has a 3% aura.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
oh, so if they
like,
die, you actually lose one too. Ooh,
Yeah,
I didn't really consider
exactly.
that.
so if you
Not
die,
really.
if one of them dies, then you lose 3%. Instead of them just like giving 9% flat. But that talent could be a hint that they should be on a charge system instead.
Yeah, Grove Guardians is sick, that note, because it's on a charge system, right? You can choose, do you want 3% healing now to like help you a bit, or do you want like 9% to like big blast healing at some point? You like pull them up. That's an interesting decision to make. So yeah.
I also don't know if you guys have played with Tree Taunt this expansion at all, but it likes to randomly fervent to your melee nearby occasionally.
Like to like random put the corals around. Yeah, I get
Some
complained about that.
mobs are just bad, and then we'll just like if they're taunted by a pet, they'll just like randomly fervent a melee. You're just like, okay. I used it in Temple of the Jade Serpent like really early on, and then just I don't even know what those mobs are. The Shaws would just clock your melee the moment you fucking press them.
Oh, so they can't target pets with their abilities, so they just target the closest.
Yeah, they just target closest player and they
player.
just kill them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I had people
Yeah.
complain that they turn the conals after the treants.
Well, that's
When the treants like go around the mobs infinitely.
frankly that's user error. I don't think that that's like on. I don't think that that's on anybody except for the people who are pressing the trees. Like you should know like what you're pressing it on.
Yeah, for sure. And your melee should probably know that the treants are out.
Yeah.
Because the treants don't like. Usually pets go behind the mobs, right? Or like on the side.
Yeah, and then they keep rotating around because they try to go behind them.
Yeah, but treants don't act that way, right? They just
Trees just stand there. Yeah.
Yeah. they stand
No,
there.
that's the problem. They don't stand there. They like keep shuffling around each other. They like swap
I
positions for some reason.
I think they try to stand in a triangle relative to one another.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then the mobs moves closer to the one getting taunted, and then it keeps swapping position in the treant. And it moves around.
Well, yeah. Makes sense.
Possible.
All right. Whatever. Anyways, any final thoughts? Anything else?
No, not really.
As always,
Just
Buff
that-
Pumpkin.
Yeah, fucking buff
Buff
Moonkin.
Pumpkin.
All right.
Buff,
Later,
buff,
homies.
buff. Bye.
Later.
All right. Very good.